If you found out that tomorrow you were going to die, that today was your last day on earth, how will you take this news? Would you take it with acceptance and gratitude for the life that you have had so far? Or would you feel a lot of regret? Regret for the things that you have not yet done and for the things that you have not yet accomplished. If your answer was the second option, what if it was a deal you could make to expand the days you have left? So the deal is, you will gain one extra day of life, but in exchange, something from this world has to disappear. No one would even notice that this existed in the first place. You will be the only one with the memory. So for example, the more things you desire to disappear from this world, the more days of life you gain. So, would you accept? I know this is an odd question to start the video, but it is a premise to the book If Cats Disappear from the World, from the author Genki Kawamura. And this book holds a very special place in my heart, and sadly I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I came across this book years ago, and I thought it was going to be a silly little book about cats, and it ended up giving me one of my first existential crises. But in a fun way. One of the reasons the author mentioned that he wrote this book, it was because he was in a trip to Tokyo and he lost his cell phone. So he took the train to go back home, and what he usually does on the train is to scroll on his cell phone. But since he couldn't do that, he was looking out of the window and he saw the most beautiful rainbow that he has ever seen. He was so in awe with this, he was so mesmerized. And he looked around to see if anybody else was experiencing this view, and he noticed that the other people were with their head down, scrolling on their cell phone, and how he would have been doing the same thing. And it made me question how many things I've myself missed out on because of not being present. One of the reasons I found myself thinking about this book again is because I have been going through life in pilot mode and I've stopped paying attention as well. So anytime I'm hanging out with a friend that I haven't seen in a really long time, they ask me the question, so what's new? I struggle a lot with answering it because my immediate thought process is to say that nothing interesting or extraordinary has happened in my life. But I'm thinking that I have to tell stories about traveling the world or fighting monsters and vampires. And I've forgotten that the ordinary can be interesting as well if I choose to see it that way. We underestimate the fascination that can come from the most mundane of human experiences. I want to reconnect with this part of my life. In order to do so, I've been journaling, and journaling is something I've always struggled with because of this exact same reason, is that I tell myself that I have nothing interesting to write about. But I've been making the effort to do so. I've been writing about going outside and noticing the different shades of greens that are in the trees. Or like taking the bus and my thought process about choosing which seat I'm gonna sit on. I've noticed that when I sit in the seat that is not close to the window, like this seat, I've noticed it takes longer for somebody to sit next to me because I assume it takes more effort to ask me to sit next to me. So usually they go around the different seats, and when there are not many options left, they ask me to sit next to me. But when I sit next to the window, immediately somebody sits next to me because it takes less effort to just sit down than having to ask to sit down next to me. I've been trying to notice stuff like this in order to be able to tell little stories about little things in life. There's an article by Emily Weatherhead from Thought Catalog, It goes, "You can forget how much meaning can be found in the tiny, ordinary parts of your day. I want to create a life for myself that leaves me space to breathe. Slow down and enjoy the briefest, beautiful moments of life that we are often too busy to pause and acknowledge." Don't get too busy chasing the bigger and better things in life that you forget to look around and nurture the things that are in front of you.